Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we'll be reading this text on the board, which is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, Text 16. Varam chamat kanchana manavendra.
Varam chamat kanchana manavendra.
Vrinishvateham gunashila yanchitaha. Naham makarvai sulabastapobir.
Naham Garvai Sulabhastapobir.
Yogena vayat samachittavarti.
Yogena Vayat Samachittavarti.
Varam chamat kanchana manavendra.
Varam chamat kanchana manavendra.
Vrinishvateham gunashila yantritaha.
Vinishvateham gunashila.
Naham karvai sulabastapobir.
Naham Garvai Sulabhastapobir.
Yogena vayat samachittavarti.
Yogena Vayat Samachittavarti.
Varam chamat kanchana manavendra.
Varam manavendra.
Vrinishvateham gunashila yantritaha.
Vinishvateham gunashila.
Namakarvai sulabastapobir.
Naham Garvai Sulabhastapobir.
Yogena vayat samachittavarti.
Yogena Vayat Samachittavarti.
Param Chamat Kanchana Manavendra.
Varam chamat kanchana manavendra.
Vinishvateham gunashila yantritaha.
Vinishvateham gunashila yantritaha.
Naham Garvai Sulabhastapobir.
Naham Garvai Sulabhastapobir.
Yogena Vayat Samachittavarti.
Yogena Vayat Samachittavarti. Varam chamat kanchana manavendra.
Varam chamat
kanchana manavendra. Vinishvateham gunashila yantrita.
Vinishvateham gunashila yantritaha.
Naham Garvai Sulabhastapobir.
Naham Garvai Sulabhastapobir.
Yogena Vayat Samachittavarti.
Yogena
Vayat
Samachittavarti.
Majis.
Varam chamat kanchana manavendra.
Varam chamat kanchana manavendra.
Vinishvateham gunashila yantita.
Naham gunashila yantritaha.
Naham Garvai Sulabhastapobir.
Naham Garvai Sulabhastapobir.
Yogena Vayat Samachittavarti.
Yogena Vayat Samachittavarti.
Varam.
Varam.
Benediction.
Benediction.
Cha.
Cha.
Also.
Also.
Mat.
Mat.
From me.
From me.
Kanchana.
Kanchana.
Whatever you like.
Whatever you like.
Manava Indra.
Manavendra.
O chief of human beings.
O chief of human beings.
Vernishva.
Vinishvateham.
Please request.
Please request.
Te.
Take
Your.
your
Ahar.
aham.
Thank you. I.
I.
Gunashila.
Gunashila.
By elevated qualities
Relevant quality
and excellent behavior.
and excellent behavior.
Yantrita.
Yantrika.
Being captivated.
Be captivated.
Na.
Na.
Not.
Na.
Aham.
Aham.
I.
I.
Makai.
Makai.
By sacrifices.
I sacrifice.
Vai.
I.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Sulabha.
Sulabha.
Easily obtained.
Easily obtained.
Pobi.
Hobi.
By austerities.
By austerities.
Yogena.
Yogena.
By practice of mystic yoga.
By practice of mystic yoga.
Or
Or.
Yat.
Yeah.
Because of which.
Because of which.
Samachita.
Samachita.
And one who is equipoised.
One who is exploited.
Varti.
Varti.
Being situated.
Being situated.
Translation. My dear king, I am very qualities and excellent behavior, and thus I am very favorably inclined toward you. You may therefore ask from me any benediction you like. One who does not possess elevated qualities of behavior cannot possibly be contaminated by the material modes of nature. One is considered good or bad with reference to the material qualities. But when one is transcendental to all material qualities, all the good qualities come out. These qualities of a devotee, how many in number? 26 in number, are listed as follows. 1, kind to everyone. 2, does not quarrel with anyone. 3, fixed in the absolute truth. 4, equal to everyone. 5, faultless. 6, charitable. 7, mild. 8, clean. 9, simple. 10, benevolent. 11, peaceful. 12, completely attached to Krishna. 13, has no material hankering. 14, meek. 15, steady. 16, self-controlled. 17, does not eat more than required. 18, sane. 19, respectful. 20, humble. 21, grave. 22, compassionate. 23, friendly. 24, poetic. 25, expert. 26, silent. The Lord is satisfied by development of the transcendental qualities of the living entity, and not by artificial performance of sacrifices and mystic yoga. In other words, unless one is fully qualified to become a pure devotee of the Lord, one cannot expect to be liberated from material entanglement. I'll repeat that because Mr. Turkey might have interrupted that, but he was saying Jai. I don't know if you can understand Turkey language. Jai means victory. In other words, unless one is fully qualified to become a pure devotee of the Lord, one cannot expect to be liberated from material entanglement. What's the turkey's name? Sufi. Okay, cool. Om Agyantam Arandasya Janajana Shalaya Chakshurita Tasmai Shitam Vishtam Stavram Yavakale Swayamupagaram Ratis Prabhavantinam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vaigyanara Shri Sadguru Bhaktananda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. So it's the day before Jesus' appearance day, at least that's how they celebrate it, and try to interject some glorification of our Guru, Jesus Christ, as well as to make the broad spiritual statement that Lord Chaitanya, he said the only religion in today's age is glorifying God by the utterance of his holy name. That's what religion is in today's age, the way to relink with Krishna, according to the ancient knowledge, according to God himself and his appearance as Lord Chaitanya. And the great saints are saying the same thing. So, translation repeated, I'll repeat it. My dear king, I am very captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior. So I'm just gonna, start here. So we note here, there's a few main themes within this that I plucked out at least. And one of them is Krishna, hear the word, he's saying he's captivated by a devotee's qualities and excellent behavior. So King Prithu is a Shakti Vaishyavatar. Jesus is a Shakti Vaishyavatar. These are beings that come down from the spiritual world on time and on schedule, and planets all throughout the universes for the purpose of bringing people back to the spiritual world. And Prithu Maharaj is one Shakti Vaish. So Yavesh means the descendant, Shakti is the empowered, and Prithu has the empowerment of administration, I should say. I'm sorry, not legislation, administration. So he's in charge of making sure the planets run properly. incredibly empowered, and totally pure devotee of the Lord. And we see these qualities, I'll go into that, but we can think of who is Kishore Kishori. Krishna is the most attractive, is all attractive. That's the word Krishna means, filled with amazing qualities. The six Goswamis are enchanted by remembering the qualities of the Lord. Enchanted. They're in complete ecstasy remembering the qualities of the Lord. So, and so who is Krishna most attracted to? Who attracts the attractor other than the pure devotees? We have all these qualities. There's the main personality, Radharani Krishna there. So she's, and the pure devotee is showing that he's attracting Krishna. So Prabhupada's Guru and Prabhupada said, or they both said, that don't try to see Krishna, act in a way that Krishna wants to see you. So that's like the best motive operandi. Let's not just, okay, Krishna, get over here now. No, but actually act in a way, become a pure devotee of the Lord, and automatically Krishna, you see Krishna all the time. That's the pure state. To see Krishna within and without at all times. One, the pure devotee, there's a nice verse, I forgot the Bengali or Sanskrit, that one does not really see the form so much, but always sees Krishna externally and within. That's the pure state of consciousness, when everything is spiritual to that individual. One time Prabhupada was walking through New York City and they took him to a wrong spot. They had to go around the spot and took him to this really horrible area. Prabhupada says, I'm sorry, Prabhupada, we had to take you through this area. He said, no. You have the eyes to see it all. It's beautiful and perfect and spiritual. So, perfect was used, but spiritual. So, anyway. So that's one of the main themes. And another main theme should be within our minds, thinking, what are these symptoms of a pure devotee? How can we get them? So the symptoms, what are the symptoms of a pure devotee? Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna asked that same question. The Bhagavad Gita, Krishna and Arjuna are having a talk. Arjuna's more intelligent, Prabhupada says, than anybody, and the most intelligent one then, when everybody was more intelligent than they are now. So we're dealing with an incredible dialogue, the Bhagavad Gita is. And so Krishna asked, what is the symptoms of a totally, one who has in transcendence? So good, open right out, Krishna's mercy. And Krishna is answers, the Supreme Personality Godhead said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, the modes of nature are active, who is situated in the self, and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal toward the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. So it's important to know what is going to make Krishna dear, what attracts Krishna. And here we learned about these qualities of the Vaishnava. But the Bhagavad Gita goes into it on another angle that should share more light on the subject. 12, 13 through 20. So here, Krishna is telling Arjuna, looks like 13 to 20. One who is not envious, but a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. He for whom no one is put into difficulty, and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both inauspicious and auspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge and who is engaged in devotional service, such a person is very dear to me. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. So, so knowing these qualities and what they are, and I remember wanting to. I remember when I was 21. I remember having this thought. I visited mom and dad in Colorado, and I remember thinking, kind of like all alone now, done with my girlfriend stuff, at least for the time being, and all the rest. School is almost done. I can handle it. And I remember having this thought. I want to develop good qualities. I want, nice quality. But it didn't work. It simply didn't work. We can't just fake these symptoms. These symptoms cannot be faked. Probably said, some reporter said, what's the difference between me and you? And probably said, well, something along those lines. Probably said, well, you have a room full of naked ladies and here I won't be disturbed. I mean, the impetus for, gratifying, misidentifying the self of the body and then trying to gratify it will be present there unless we engage in devotional service to Krishna. I forgot the name of this verse. I mean, the Sanskrit of this verse, but it says the Lord has different energies, 3 different energies. In summary, the external energy, when the living entity wants to play God, misidentifies the self of the body, then the material nature takes control of such a person and controls them. And the other energy is internal potency. When one chooses to be who they really are as a servant of Krishna and serves Krishna, then one becomes under the internal potency of God, the spiritual energy. So we're like, and then the third energy is us, the marginal energy. We can choose to turn that light switch to on or off. There's no neutral zone. According to the original knowledge, if you just go, hey, I'm not the body, hey, no problem, just see you, everything will be fine. No. Material energy will take control of such a person because we are all controlled by Krishna always. But one thing he doesn't control is our free will in choosing to serve him or not. That's the option we always have. So always choosing to serve Krishna solves all the problems. When we don't, then the external agent, just like the bad kid, parents can't stand him anymore, and he gets sent to a school or a place to live where there's an external agent that has no affection for the kid. They chastise him. So that's like material nature. Of course, Durga, material nature, has affection. She's a pure devotee, but still, that's her job. She doesn't have the same feelings that, and sometimes she creates mass destruction of living entities where Shiva, her husband, falls at her feet and just begs, to chill out, right? Wars, pestilence, on and on and on. Smash, crash, disease, death and destruction, all right, you don't want to serve Krishna, then bam. Of course, there's also goodness, but it's contaminated material goodness. contaminated still with the desire, okay, I'm gonna open up a lot of hospitals and make people well, yeah, right, well, see what happens, okay, but it's up to Krishna what happens. And you feel like, yeah, I did that was my doing, I'm great, you can all worship me now, or whatever it might be. This is still contaminated, but only pure goodness, unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service to Krishna satisfies the self, because that's who we really are. So, let me just look at this here real quickly here. So that's the qualities of a pure devotee, the qualities of what attracts Krishna. And now how do we get those qualities? Are those qualities developed, or are they innately in us? I remember as I was climbing the yogic ladder, studying with a shaman, fasting a lot, juicing, not that fasting is a little thing, but she's about to start a big fast. And so many other things, like I was serving at the Sikh ashram and doing other things. And I went to this guru's ashram. She's actually, my understanding is a real siddha. Siddha means a perfected being. I mean, at least from the Siddha Loka, they're Prabhupada at one point says they're pure devotees. But, I don't want to get into any. But obviously I knew when I was in the darshan to have her darshan was a line. And the energy was wild. And I was just going, I'm about to have some experience. And then I had this thought like, what happens? Oh no, what if I'm deep down, the deepest part of me is just an evil, awful person? I had this great fear, and I put my head down, like, oh no, I mean, it just like really riveted my whole being. And there was poles like this, but with metal, shiny metal, and there were straps so that we were all in a line, guiding everybody. And I just had my head down. Oh, what happens if, and all of a sudden I looked at the reflection of myself. It wasn't the me that I would see in a normal mirror with my normal eyes. It was myself, my deepest part of myself, I assume. And then I realized, that's exactly what I want to be. I am exactly what I want to be. It's like perfect match for who I wanted to be, or all that I would love to be. And that already was that. I'm seeing the deepest part of myself. I remember looking up and I saw everybody's part of them, who they are, and it completely blew my mind. I just couldn't look at it very long. I was just trying to function in this line to darshan. So I realized though that deep down inside, and I had this other experience later, I had the same thought, like doing a lot of japa. That was before I met the devotees or anything like that, the Hare Krishnas, I should say. So I at that point I realized that, oh, wait, I'm not evil. At the core of my being, I'm actually everything I can imagine that I would want to be. And then later, years later, I had the same thought. What happens if I'm like really? I guess I forgot completely. And then I had this other experience, and I realized that love of God is the most natural thing. It's the most natural thing to purely love God. And so how do we develop these qualities? The qualities are already there. We are already equal in quality with Krishna. Krishna's qualities. Krishna doesn't have any covering to his consciousness because he's in control of everything. So it's easy to see his qualities. But we are the same in truth of qualities, just like we drop an ocean, and the ocean is the same salty qualities and so forth of the ocean. But we're not the same in quantity, of course. We are very minute individuals, and Krishna is huge. And so the qualities are already there. So that's my point I'm trying to make. And so what is now in the way of experiencing our real nature, which is blissful, full of knowledge, we're eternal, and we have these qualities deep down inside. Maybe I'll speak for myself. I have these qualities deep down inside. Maybe some of you don't have them deep. They're already blossomed like anything. Think about this Sudhamini, honestly. It's like, wow, see a full-blown, rendition of all this. I mean, here we have it in real life, right in the ashram. So But what is the contamination is millions and millions of lifetimes of sinful activities, contamination of consciousness, and this conditioning to try to be God instead of serve God. It's heavy duty, and it takes a while to cleanse the consciousness from this misconception that I am the body, that I am a product of this material nature. We're taught it in school, consciousness comes from matter, and so forth and so on. At least when I grew up, that's what they taught. College and everything, maybe it's a little different now, I kind of doubt it though. And, you know, it's not like you learn this here and there and everywhere. But the process to remove the covering, the contamination of the consciousness, is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. So that is the process that awakens pure love of God that's already there in the heart. It's dormant for myself and most of us. But as we chant it, it becomes awakened, and we can actually experience that. Just like I spent time distributing books on Mount Rushmore, so we got Thomas Jefferson up there. And he said, things become self-evident. As we apply ourselves spiritually, things become self-evident. So it becomes self-evident that Krishna is God, that I'm part and parcel of Krishna, that all these things that we read about. So that's the process. It's just like I saw the Om Santa, I think he missed it, because it's, you know, these things you plug in the air and then they blow up. Well, there's a Santa out there that's all like this. No air, he's not plugged in. And he's just flat on the ground. And that's like a non-devotee, no offense. I mean, people that aren't plugged into the, when we don't plug into devotional service, we have no good qualities. It is just blur. No matter how much that individual tries to, I'm gonna force this material body up, and I'm gonna be nice. I'm not gonna be disturbed by my neighbor today, you know. You try to maintain that, it'll fail. Just like Sabari Muni, great, even these great mystics, that's why it says here that this mystic yoga is not pleasing to Krishna. There's still a selfish motive to attain mystical powers. And the karma kandya, the performance of sacrifices, the karma kandya, I want to get to a better material situation. That's why they perform the sacrifices. That doesn't please Krishna. It's another selfish motive. Right? Bhakti Mama Majanati, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, one can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of God, only by devotional service. That's what pleases Krishna. It's serving, loving service to Krishna. That's who we are. It's a self-actualized state of consciousness, being who we really are. So, and the severe austerities, you know, I'm going to sit in front of a whole bunch of blazing fires. And I mean, that was a process that was practiced in the past and so forth. And you meet many ascetics that perform severe, but this doesn't please Krishna either. Only devotional service. You can just literally go have yourself a huge, wonderful feast at Govinda's. Eating prasadam is service to Krishna. We don't need to go through this. But, so the point is that Santa, even if the family, and my family will save me, this family help prop me up, and the government, I'll get some of this payment or whatever, and the government will save me, and the government tries to pick it up. It's just, they'll all get tired. And, you know, and it won't blow up like it blossom like when you plug the thing in. So the plugging in is the devotional service to Krishna. That's the plugging in. And then boom! Santa's all got a big smile on him. What does it say? Om on there or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, he's got Om on his chest. There's Om Santa. You know, he's just like, hey. And there's no effort on his part. He's not doing it. Krishna is doing it. But the difference is that, like, he chose to serve Krishna. It's like, I can be in a really, I mean, sorry, I should be always in perfect consciousness, but I'm sorry, I'm not like, you know, terribly advanced personality at all. So sometimes I can be a little, you know, whatever, but I set up my table, and the second I get behind that table, I'm like that's Santa, boom. Hey, and I'm smiling, and people are going, wow, this is so attractive. And people come to me, I literally 10 minutes ago had such a horrible consciousness and go, you look so peaceful. Are these books going to help me become like you? I'm like, oh, yeah. I mean, it's not me, you know, and I feel so enlivened, so much like just blissful just by moving the books and doing my service. So I feel like that Santa, also that you know, those long stringy blow up guys that go like this, you know, that they have. You ever seen them? Like in front of stores, the grand opening, and they have this green whatever stick figure guy going like, you know, and you think he's gonna fall over. He goes like, when he goes like that, you think he's gonna fall over at any second, right? So it's like, it's just devotee. I saw that with Vaisheshika, a wonderful Vaishnava devotee we have in the movement. I was seeing him, I went to one of his book distribution seminars. He was working so hard and was so cheerful and so positive. The whole time I was going, I'm sorry, it's my contaminant. I was thinking, okay, when is he going to have a negative moment? And then I go, yeah, finally. He's okay, so like all of us, it's all good. I can be that way too. And the whole time, I never saw him get that much negative or unpositive the whole time. And after a while, I just went, man, you are the legit person. Oh my goodness. I mean, and then I thought, well, I no longer have an excuse to not be like that anymore, since I actually have experienced a pure devotee, you know, real pure devotee. And I have to become one too. One time I had this dream. Brigapati Prabhu was a huge book distributor in our movement. Everybody kind of maybe knows him a little bit. I had this dream with him, and we're in the forest, and there's a war going on, and we're in the forest, and I'm hiding. I don't know what he's doing. I'm just hiding. I just don't want to get shot. And all of a sudden, I mean, there's tons of people with guns, and they're trying to kill us. And he all of a sudden runs out of the forest in between these two rocks. He's got a gun, and he starts just picking them all off. And I was thinking, when he started to run forward, I screamed, no, don't do that. I got to do it too. No. And sure enough, he went out there and man, I gotta join him now. So then I ran over there. Oh gosh. So that's what it's like, having the association of parampara devotees of the Lord. Like Prabhupada, totally pure devotee, and all these people went, well, I have to help him. My first day here, I saw Mother Sandhamani, many others, and I saw them and went, well, I have to help them. I don't have another option. These are pure devotees. I have to become one too. I no longer have an excuse to not become like them. Not that I should try to become like them, but I can serve them. And this is leading to the next process. How do we develop these qualities? How does we develop the qualities? By associating with those who have those qualities. So by serving the pure devotees, we actually develop the qualities of the pure devotee. And we see that what did Thomas Jefferson say? Everything becomes self-evident. It becomes self-evident that these qualities are within the sincere followers of Prabhupada. It's undeniable. You have to go, wow, okay, this is legit. Like Vaisheshika, was that experience I had was just, this person's really a pure devotee. And I would like those qualities too. And this is the process, going back to when I was 21, I want to be a good, better person, develop qualities. This is the process. The process is serving the pure devotees. And we develop those qualities. And then we learn the art of being like that Santa that's always plugged in. Or the young, think about me. Hey, Hare Krishna, But it's nothing. Move the prasad over here. And you go clean the trash. Like that. And it's 24/7, no problem. 24/7. I remember when I worked here, I calculated my hours because I had student loans, and the student loan guy said, well, you just don't want to pay him because you just became a monk to escape society and become a bum. And And what else did he say? He says, you know, he's a follow the Christian, you know, sort of no offense, but you know, had a dogmatic Christian understanding, and he was saying the Bible says you got to do this and that. And say, well, our scriptures say that if you fully surrender to Christian, you have no more obligations. So you're just being a bum, escaping. You're just doing nothing for society. And so I calculated my hours. I can't remember the hours I worked. I think it was like 84 a week when I was living here. Something like, it was some humongous number, and 7 days a week, you know, it's no big thing. So, but I was blissful. It wasn't bad. It was great. It was perfect for my consciousness because I was a mess and I needed to get better. And so the best thing is just plug in and have all that junk fall away, you know, until it's completely gone. So, and now I would just like to lead this into, we got a few minutes left, so we want to be dear to Krishna. And what does Krishna say? Sorry, I forgot the Jesus glorification part. So if we go through these qualities, we'll see a theme. Oh, good, this is my leading into my last thing. There's a theme. There's many themes within the 26 qualities, but one I'm going to pick out: kind to everyone, charitable, benevolent, respectful, humble, great, compassionate. So we see this kind, compassionate, benevolent theme here. And Prabhupada, Jesus, perfect embodiments of this compassionate. What Prabhupada did is just phenomenal. What Jesus did was absolutely phenomenal. And they sacrificed their life for us. They didn't have another, they just basically, actually, they sacrificed their life to please God. And Krishna is eternally blissful, but he's got his sons and daughters or whatever, sons of God, whatever, his children in this material dimension suffering, just like a really good king. He doesn't like to see people in prison. He just wants to take them to prison, but he wants them to get rectified and come back and be free and be happy. So it's a little bit of, you know, trouble for Krishna's consciousness in a sense. So a pure devotee looks at that and goes, how can I alleviate Krishna from that pain? And so they come down and they try to create a rectifications program so that people can go back to the spiritual world. So that's, a huge part. And in fact, I should say that is spirituality. There's a nice thing, and Didichi is a saint who performs so many austerities that Indra is advised to take his bones, make them into a weapon to kill the demons and regain his kingdom. So he goes to the Didichi, a great saint, says, "What? Can we have your body?" And he's like, "No problem." But he wanted to just test them. And he goes, "Well, see what they had to say about religious principles." And he said, "Well, don't you know that bodies are so dear to others?" And then they kind of convinced him. He was already convinced. He just sacrificed. We'll do anything to help. It's a great saint, perfect saint. So, great saint at least. Not perfect, but. And so then Didichi starts commenting on religious principles. Oh gosh, where is that? And so basically, what he's saying is the summary of all religious principles is when I see somebody disturbed, upset, I'm upset, and when I see somebody happy, then I'm happy. So that's the summary of religious principles. So, treat another as you wish to be treated. Jesus perfectly summarized all of Prabhupada's books, all the Vedas, millions and millions of verses. He summarized them in 2 commandments. Love God with your whole being and treat your neighbors yourself. So this is the summary of all that we're about. And if you see a fish on land, what is that? What is being kind to that fish on land? We're spirit in the material dimension. It's an incompatible situation. So that fish on land, I'm going to make him happy. I'm going to buy you a Ferrari. I'm going to make you happy, Mr. Fish. Here's a Ferrari for you to drive. I'm benevolent. I'm kind. Yeah, you can be happy now. It's not going to make the fish happy. You give him whatever, he's not going to be happy. The only thing he's going to be happy is you put that fish back into the water. And then he's going to be happy. That's his natural environment. So the spirit soul, whatever you give materially to this spirit soul, won't make him happy. But if you help that spirit soul can reconnect with Krishna, then he's happy. So that's being benevolent and kind. So that's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 1868-69, no one is more dear to me for one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. This is what I meant to say. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So that person who tries to bring those spirit souls back to the spiritual world by sharing this knowledge is most dear to Krishna. And sharing knowledge gets done in so many different ways other than just giving people a book. Every time they have a bite of prasadam, every time they even see a devotee chanting, every time they might visit the deities, so many different ways for that knowledge to be imparted. But Prabhupada did mention that this book distribution is most important. And it's a fantastic way. It's like a practical way to apply all this. And not that we have to give up our wonderful service of having such a nice prasadam restaurant and become a full-time book distributor. This is not what I'm talking about at all. It's a cultural conquest. But Prabhupada said, book distribution must be given stress always. Because it's challenging to get out of our comfort zone and sacrifice and try to give people books. And you're giving people not only Krishna, but also Prabhupada, the perfect combination. So it's a very quick way to apply all this, to have all that, our real qualities, just like the spark in the fire goes a little ways away from the fire, the soot starts covering it. Still blazing, but you can't see it very well. But if you put it close in the middle of the fire, all the soot goes away. And it blazes. No more soot there. And so that's basically it in summary. But I hope I did that in a sensitive way. But we can always try to share this knowledge with others in so many ways. Wherever we go, whatever we do. And I can guarantee you, I remember when I first joined here, I read the Bhagavad Gita. I was like in a Battle of Kurukshetra experience. I had to read know what was in this Bhagavad Gita at that point in my life. I read it in 2 days. I hardly slept. I just went to the bathroom, ate a little bit, and just read it. And I got to the point where it says, no one is more dear. And I asked Asra, the TP here at the time, really in charge of saving my butt. I asked him, what does that mean? And of course, there's different meanings that other people will have, but he told me that, that means book distribution. So I remember just finishing the Gita, closing it, going to the book room. I mean, I was just grabbing some books and going out. And as I would distribute them, I noticed in each book I distributed, this thing, this stuff that keeps me from experiencing my real nature, a chunk of it would go with each book. I'm serious. I noticed that. And then I thought, okay, this is how I really purify myself and really accomplish what I want to accomplish here. Pure love of God. This is how to awaken it all. I just keep that book, so I just try to just constantly focus on the books and get, and sure enough, stuff just starts flowing off like anything. Just stay in that current of energy of pure spirituality. Static, he's smiling, he kind of knows what I'm talking about, right? At least to some degree, yeah. Yeah? Yeah, okay, good. I'm sure to more degree than I am, I know, so. So I'll stop there. Sorry for if I rubbed anybody the wrong way with my fanatical book distribution programs. Are there any comments or questions? Yes, Prabhu?
Thank you, Prabhu, for this nice because you did not commit no offenses by talking about book distribution. And, this chapter, this verse talk about the 26 qualities of a devotee. So, we have to develop all these 26 qualities in this Kali Yuga to go back to Krishna, because the Kali Yuga is an age of faults. So how can we develop all this quality before this short life end?
Well, Prabhupada's gurus did say it can be done in one lifetime. If one's sincere, applies himself, honestly, I completely understand what you're saying. But I think when we get to that point of concern in that regard, we just go to Krishna. Krishna's mercy can do absolutely anything, 100%, anything, anytime. Anything at any time. And it's actually only by his mercy have we gotten to where we are now. And for me to be where I'm at now, I mean, not that I'm great, but from where I was, it's inconceivable in my mind. So, just like the story of, I forgot who was asking Vishnu or Krishna, I can't remember the detail, but the details were this cobbler he went to this cobbler in a Brahmana. He first went to a cobbler in a Brahmana. Anyway, the cobbler had full faith in Krishna.
Oh yeah.
And the Brahmana, I think the devotee was asking Krishna, one of these people, I think went to the saint was going by and he said, well, can you ask Vishnu, when do I go back home? And the Brahmana asked the same thing. And the cobbler and the Brahmana. And then, so he goes to Vishnu, well, ask Vishnu, when are these people going back home to the spiritual world? Well, the cobbler's coming back in this lifetime, and the Brahmana's not coming back from many, many, many lifetimes. And he's like, the Brahmana, he's always engaged in spiritual activities and everything, or at least supposed to, and so forth and so on. He knows the scripture and everything. And he's like, I don't understand. He says, well, ask him the question, what is the Lord doing at this time?
Yeah.
And tell him, I'm trying to put an elephant through the eye of a needle. So goes the cobbler goes,
my Lord can do anything.
You know what Vishnu is doing right now? He's putting an eye, and Vishnu says, he can do anything. And then he goes to the Brahman and he goes, it's impossible, get out of here, right? So the faith, I think the faith is important, and we keep applying ourselves and have the faith. It's like opens the heart to where Krishna can work. I'm actually just having experience of this kind of excelling my faith in this regard. Not that I'm great or anything, but I just had a recently experience regarding this. That we all get to that. I assume we all get to that point where we just go, I'm doing everything I can. It seems impossible. But if we just open that heart up like that, receive the mercy of the Lord, He's happily give it. And He does. In His own way, His own time. Hope that helps.
Yeah, Krishna do one step to us, He do 10 steps.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I think Prabhu had a question or a comment.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, your presentation reminds me that these 26 qualities don't manifest in stereotypical ways. Because your presentation was very personal, unique, and like just like your description of what happens sometimes. You're just about to set up the table, but you're in bad consciousness, and then all of a sudden you set up, and then people start coming, and it's just like, wow, what happened? So it almost sounds very counterintuitive, because someone like Vaisheshika Prabhu, sometimes he says, people ask me, what's the key to distributing books? And Vaisheshika will say, chant good rounds.
Mm.
It's like a progression. So by the time you get out there, you're fully you're tuned in. You're fully manifesting devotional qualities. But it didn't necessarily work out like that for you, because sometimes something could be bothering you. But then still, Krista's mercy will manifest at the moment you need it. And sometimes you hear actors describe how I'm not really happy, or I'm not really me until I get on stage. So until you're doing your dharma, is it? Is it like all of a sudden you're doing your dharma, and then Krishna empowers you to do what you do? Is it something like that?
Yeah, we're plugging in. We're just plugging in the Krishna service. Exactly. Krishna's the doer regardless. And he's happy that we're choosing to be a devotee at that point, right? We're aspiring devotee of some kind. And so we get the mercy. Yeah. And I did want to mention the comment to Prabhu's question also. For me, at least, I really have to get free from this conception that, oh no, am I going to make it back to the spiritual world, time of death, or whatever. It's too much strain for my consciousness. But what really works for me is just, that's up to Krishna. I can't control that. But what I can control is just I can choose to serve Krishna. I can just focus on that. And that solves my problems. So I don't have to worry about where I'm going to be. Am I going to be here again, or am I going to be in the spiritual world again? It doesn't matter ultimately, right? Sometimes seriously, on book distribution, I was distributing books for a while. It was so great. I mean, super duper for like months. And then I remember having this thought like this is like, it's so wonderful. And then I had this thought like, oh my God, I get to go back home to Godhead too? Whoa! So like that's like a side thing. That's if it doesn't happen, it's still cool. So that felt great. Any other comments or questions? Because I mean, sometimes, no offense, please, the challenging Christians sometimes come to the table. And where are you going to be when you die? Well, it doesn't matter to me where I go. Oh, come on, why don't you go hell forever? If Krishna wants me to hell forever, I'll serve him there. That's fine. That's love, right? And I try to convince them it's about the love of God. It's not conditional. I'll serve you if I get to go there when I die. That's not love. That's not love. Love is I'm just going to love and serve you. Whatever you do with me, that's your thing. Like Radharani's Lord Chaitanya's Shikshashtika, whether you handle me roughly by your embrace or leave me brokenhearted, you're eternally my worshipful Lord. That's the pure state. And we have to, and that's not like just something to aspire for and attain for, but it's actually explaining what's best for our consciousness, what's best modus operandi for us, immediately and in the future. So it's a win-win situation. And that's the only real solution. That's the only solution. I had no offense, really not doing anything weird here, but I had this experience with a Christian pastor who he's been for years a Christian pastor. He came up to the table. I could sense, oh no, here comes again, the same thing. But then I sensed something different here. Oh, let's go, okay, let me give this a chance. And then all of a sudden he broke down, totally broke down. He says, you know what? You know what's wrong with spirituality? Is this Christian dogmatic crap. And he got really, like he pent up for 25 years. And he just goes, you know, it's all about, okay, rubber stamp you, now get out of here. And next one, you know, rubber stamp, I'm going to say the Christian prayer, we'll get out of here. He says, well, where's the love of God? You know, what is it? And he's like, I was like, wow, I couldn't believe I'm watching this. And I was going, this guy, he's got it. He's getting it. He's totally getting it. And here he is getting all of Prabhupada's books. And here's the science as to how to perfect the pure love of God. And I was like, so liberating to watch this, to see him go through that. I was completely shocked because it's such a fry seeing one dogmatic thing after another, you know, but it's not about love of God. But here was a pastor for 25 years doing that and finally going, forget it. Forget it. I don't want to do it anymore. I want love of God. Wow. It's so beautiful. But that's where it is, right? Love of God. That's the only solution. We can always, under all circumstances, no matter what, there's never, ever, ever, ever a material or any kind of impediment to us loving Krishna, ever. And if we just take shelter of that mode of operandi, we have zero problems forevermore. And I'll end it with this, that Prabhupada says, the Krishna conscious movement will spread by the qualities of a Vaishnava. So if we accept this mode of operandi, then those qualities are developed, then we start spreading Krishna consciousness in a wonderful way, like Prabhupada did. It's his qualities. People checked them out and went, oh my God, this person has totally purified consciousness. I'm your follower. Simple as that. How do I get to there? Right? But if he didn't have that, even if he was a huge book distributor and built many temples and millions of dollars and built all these temples but didn't know those qualities, ISKCON wouldn't be anywhere close to where it is now. No way. He wouldn't have people coming from the heart. And that's what changes people, coming from the heart. They'll have a heartfelt experience. And so we really need, Prabhupada says, everybody living in the temples must be pure devotees. Because people have to have that heart experience. Otherwise, there's no change. It's like, how do I exploit? Okay, this person, he's dressed like this, but he's just having an exploitive mentality still. So, okay, it's all about that. That's what we do. Okay, then I'll learn how to exploit it. Yeah, nothing's changed. Nothing at all. So, that's the only solution. Thank you for tolerating me. Please know that I am so ridiculous. I'm saying big words, but I'm so ridiculous. And thank you for tolerating me. Thank you for being here and being so wonderful. And thank you so much for maintaining this place and making this place available. You have no idea how wonderful it is here. Or maybe you do, but it's incredible. And it's all because of you all helping. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Hare Krishna.
Jai Parameswara Das Prabhu ki.
All right.